What up, nerds? My name is Leslie Smith. Welcome to the Nerdy Narrative. Today I'm going to talk to you about my experience reading Nana, the debut novella by Mark Towse. This novella, published by D&T Publishing, came out March of 2021, weighs in at around 120 pages. This story has actually been on my TBR for quite a while. I was seeing the cover shared all over social media when it came out, and I was very intrigued because it has this old lady on it with she looks like she's melting. That's what I first thought when I first saw it, and I thought, okay, that's horror. It's an old lady. What's going on here? I was intrigued. I put it on my TBR. I want to say my buddy Brad Proctor reviewed it, which further cemented me wanting to read it. Well, you know how it is with TBRs. They're super long. You just never know when a book's going to come up. The author, Mark Towse, emailed me out of the blue, and he was like, hey, I think I have this story that you would enjoy. I would love to send you the ebook. I was like, yes, bring it on. This is on my TBR. This is fantastic. There's some things in it that I typically don't care for, but Mark Towse just did it so well. It fit. It just, So, some things about it. It's horror, but it's funny. It's gross. The characters, what he did with the characters and the small area we stayed in, we basically stayed on this one street in this neighborhood of this community, New Haven Crescent. But he did what Stephen King does when I say he can write small town America really well. I felt like I knew all these characters, even though I didn't spend a whole lot of time with each one. He did such a great job introducing them, describing them, and giving me a brief interaction to learn their personalities. Like, I just felt like I knew all of them. I felt like I could smell these old folks, and the descriptions got me. The descriptions is where the whole gross thing factored in, because y'all, I had to stop and start cooking dinner, and we had already talked about having tacos, and we were like amped up. Like, when we decide on something we want to eat for dinner, we like get excited about it, and we love tacos in this house. I am browning that meat, and I just kept thinking about some of the descriptions of the characters of the story, and I was like, it dampened my appetite for sure. And you guys know I love to eat. That's how you know an author has done his job. That's just, like I said in my written review, he did too good a job describing these old folks, because there is something a little more wrong than usual. And what I mean by that, how many of you, when you were a kid, you were leery of old folks? Like, they scared you, and they smelled funny and just looked funny, the sagging skin, like all that. I was like that. I was scared of old people. My grandparents, I hid from them more often than anything else because I was scared of them. They just looked funny, they smelled funny, they were set in their ways, and they just said weird things. I was just not comfortable around them. Mark Towse took that fear of a child, harnessed it, and just cranked up the dial on the intensity meter. This story is intense. It's short, 120 pages, but it's so good. It is a page turner. He did some things that were completely unexpected. The story, I would have never guessed where it was going in a million years. I think about it and I can visualize this community. I really can. That's how well he did. I mean, it sounded like it could be part of my community. I live in Central Florida. There are a lot of retirement communities here. Plus, there's a lot of people that are retired who live here. And I told the author, I'm like, man, I'll be out walking my dogs, and if I look up and see a candidate for a New Haven Crescent community, I'll cross to the other side of the road. Like, it's just, oh, he did so good. It was such a great story. Now, you remember at the beginning of the video, I said there's a couple of things I usually tend to shy away from in stories, but he did such a good job. And the things I was referencing is there's some, I mean, I guess you could call it body horror. There's something wrong with these old folks, and they have some bad skin and some interesting hobbies. There was a sex scene, an orgy, and I typically do not like that, but it fit in this story. I know you're thinking to yourself, how is that gonna fit? Like, that's not something I care for, I don't approve of. I'm telling you, in this particular story, it fit, it made sense. Was it disgusting? Abso-freaking-lutely it was, but it just, there's There's a 12-year-old involved and the descriptions made it so hilarious. I will reread this book. I know what happens now. I don't care. I loved the humor. The humor totally just cut into the grossness and the weirdness, and it just made it so good. I really enjoyed my time spent with this book. I think I saw recently that Mark has either published another short story or maybe a collection or another novella. I don't care what it is. I think it's called The Crow. I'm gonna get it. I have to read it. His writing style was amazing. His description stuck with me and made this story very memorable, and he writes small town America the way that I like it. So yeah, I'm gonna have to read more by him. Guys, I will have the book Nana linked in the description box down below if you want to give it a shot. I think it might be in Kindle Unlimited, so if you're subscribed to that service, you can just pop it on your Kindle and read it the next time you have an afternoon free. Have you read this book? Do you think you might want to read this book? If you do, please message me about it, because there are some things I want to talk about with other people. You know, it's just so funny because in the beginning you're just meeting all these people and you're like, there's something wrong with these people. And then things start happening and you're like going, wait a minute. Oh, okay. I just loved it. Absolutely loved it. Cannot wait to read more by the author. If you're someone who likes weird horror, I think it's right up your alley. If you're someone who likes creative stories that are just a little bit sideways, I think you will like this story. My cheeks hurt from smiling so hard because when I talk about it, I'm thinking about it and I'm remembering things that happened. Even though I finished it days ago, I just really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for joining me today and listening to me talk about a book that I liked, and I think you might like it too. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.